Ah, there she is.
I just want to make sure we had Mr. Frame as well.
Okay. We have everybody now?
Do we have Lee?
No, we do.
Okay, we are live.
Okay, excellent. All right. I would like to call the July 28th, 2020 Board of Supervisors meeting for Orange County to order. If everyone would join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. White has the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United
States
of America
and to the republic
for
which
it stands,
one
nation, under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and
justice for all. Mr. Crozier, you're overdoing it a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, we're done now.
Let me let the chairman know we're only going to do that once.
Should we go on with the meeting or should we wait for him to come back? What do you guys want to do?
I believe that I. You have me, Mr. Johnson?
There, we got you now.
Yes, excellent. All right. Did anyone else do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, we all did.
Okay, very good. Thank you. At this time, if everyone, starting with Mr. Johnson, could identify their location, please.
I'm actually not certain, but I believe I'm at 13451 Albano Road, Barboursville, Virginia, which is my home address.
Mr. White.
I'm at 22373 Berry Run Road in Orange at my home.
Okay. Mr. Goodwin.
I recognize the background. He's at home.
Yes. Mr. Frame, are you there?
We did get a message from Mr. Frame that he's also having trouble with his connection.
All right, well, we will continue. I'm at my second home at 33 Pier Point, New Bern, North Carolina. All right, at this time, we have special presentations and appearances, resolution of support for VDOT Smart Scale. Mr. Saunders, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Chairman Crozier, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Glad somebody didn't have technical issues.
So, fingers crossed.
Yep. All right, please, if you could just go ahead with your presentation.
Very good. Well, representing VDOT this evening on the call, we have Assistant Resident Engineer Bethel Kefialo and our District Planning Manager, Chuck Proctor. Chuck facilitated the development of the applications and solutions. He's going to provide a brief overview of the proposed applications, the green tea at 3 and 20 that we're proposing, and we'll attempt to address any questions that you may have. So Susan has got a copy of the presentation, and we'll start, Susan, with the next slide and turn it over to Mr. Proctor.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Frame.
Thank you. I'm also calling from home, so we met with you all earlier in the year on the presentations. The first two, you click to the next slide. We've got the Route 20 and 522 intersection, the High Street intersection at 231 in Gordonsville, and then the Route 20, Route 3 intersection right in the wilderness. Basically, I just put some information here so that you can understand what the references are on the for each project. PSI is potential for safety, and that's where they're ranked in the district wide. 20 and 522 is number 8 overall in the district. UDA is development areas that are designated by the localities. The wilderness is areas designated growth area for the county, as well as the town of Gordonsville is a designated growth area for the town. And then the last one was safety. If it's not identified as a PSI, it's identified, we have to do a safety study in which that's what that one's identified for. So the next slide, we'll get into the individual projects. This is the Route 20 522 project. We submitted last 2 rounds. We made some minor modifications based on your comments to the connection of the Village Drive, I think, or Village Road. It's reconnected, and we have a sidewalk that comes from it over to the roundabout where they can go over to the gas station if they want to. Basically, it's the same concept that we've submitted last round. We made, like I said, some minor modifications to it based on your feedback. The next slide is the Gordonsville project. This is the 231 High Street intersection. This, again, is the same, basically the same concept we submitted last round. We made some minor modifications to include some additional sidewalk, which was identified as part of the Safe Routes to School project that they recently did for their elementary school. But basically, this is the same concept we submitted last round. And then the last one is, the next slide is the Route 320 project, which is a project you all requested us to consider based on the recent crash history. So we added it, and this is the more detailed design of the project from what was submitted originally in the Route 3 corridor study, and just more defines where everything, what improvements are going to be made and where they're going to be made. And this one is the first time you've seen this one, so I wanted to bring it to you so you all could have a chance to review it and answer any questions you may have regarding it. And the next slide is just a little bit of how the green T operates. You can still make the lefts and rights out to and from Route 20. It would just eliminate the connection over to the 7-Eleven entrance on the other side of the road. They would still have access, but it would be right in, right out. The interesting thing about this type of intersection is the westbound movement on Route 3 would be free flow. It would not stop at all. The eastbound movement would still stop as it normally does now. It would be a little bit more efficient in the operations analysis for the intersection because you're eliminating the other phases because you're not having this connection on the other side of the road to the intersection. And then the last slide is just a recap and ask you if you have any questions. If you want to go back, we can go back and talk about the slides. If you have any questions.
Yeah, I shifted to my computer instead of my iPad. I'm on camera. Thank you.
Great. And just let me let you know there's also the call-in option in the
Yeah.
okay, great.
Got it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Chuck, thank you very much. And Chairman Crozier, members of the board, do we have any questions that we can answer tonight about the 3 alternatives? The green T is new. And it includes, as you'll note in the bottom left corner of the slide, an element of the solution is a reverse turn to the east in Spotsylvania County and a median crossover. So that's what that little section is down in the lower corner of the slide.
Alan, is there any chance we could bring that slide back up? Oh, very good. Okay,
There's
so
one
it's,
before this.
One before.
There we
yeah,
go.
oh,
There we
okay.
go. Oh,
There we go.
All right,
Well-
very good. Any questions of this particular project, anybody?
Alan, mention that again, what you had said about this slide, about I believe you called it a reverse turn.
yes, sir. Traffic accessing the north side of Route 3 from 20, such as the 7-Eleven, and during peak periods, can navigate to the right, can turn right to go left. So they can navigate to the east, they can go into Spotsylvania County, cross the bridge, climb the hill, use the median to turn around and come back. And then the same principle applies to the other side. Traffic entering Route 3 west will travel to the west to the median crossover to turn around and come back. And the basic premise of our R-cut, our restricted crossing U-turn, is to limit traffic and conflict points at the intersection and move those traffic and turning movements to locations that have significant sight distance and improve flow at the intersection.
Okay.
So in the picture, in the graphic, in the lower left corner, that blocked out section is actually in Spotsylvania County. That's to the east at the median crossover on the other side of the bridge.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't look like if you're trying to make a left from 20 on to 3, can you get you may or may not be able to get over to that right-hand lane and turn into that shopping center.
Yeah, it looks like you'll probably have to go into Spotsy and come back. Would that be
Yeah,
correct?
two solutions. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it would be. There's two solutions for that. And it really depends on the time of day and the peak and the amount of traffic on the westbound side.
Yeah.
In the evenings, it may make a lot more sense to come from 20 to 3, go east, come to the median crossover and turn around and come back versus waiting for the signal to turn left to cross over and then try to merge over to the right.
Yeah, it'd be
Across
tough
the green
merging
signal.
up in that short distance.
And based on the final configuration and the volume of traffic, that's something that can be modified. And that movement that you're referencing may be restricted altogether. It depends on the volume of traffic.
Right,
So-
which just increased.
Right.
So people wouldn't go into that, you'd get rid of that entrance into the shopping center and just have the one that's across from 20.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, any other questions on this intersection or any of the other smart scale projects?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question on the 522 one, if we could put that up for a second. I'm looking at the area of where Everona Road and then to the south Village Road comes into 20. Is it possible to make a left turn from Village onto 20? I guess that would be headed south the way the determination is. It's really west, but trying to visualize what that flow would look like. Or is that a right turn only?
It is a right turn only, and then motorists would use the roundabout to navigate to the west. So they would turn right into the flow of traffic. They would use the roundabout, navigate the roundabout, and come back to the west.
On
And
20.
that too eliminates that, yes, sir, on 20 west, and eliminates that conflict point of traffic turning left from Village into oncoming traffic at 20. They'll turn right, navigate the roundabout, and then come back to the west on 20.
Okay, but there is a right turn from Everona, I take it, to go west on 20. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there's two ways. There's also, and based on, in this configuration that's shown, traffic from Everona can cross and go to the left. So they can actually go through and go to 20 East because they don't have a way to get back into the roundabout to come. So they would have to go all the way back up to 701 and get on 522 and come down. So this provides, the traffic is lower from Everona, so they can actually go either direction on Route 20.
Right, okay. And this fits more or less in the right-of-way that exists today, or is there any way to determine what the right-of-way acquisition would have to look like at this point, if any?
The right-of-way lines that are shown, it is going to require some right-of-way, and the estimate that has been prepared for the application includes from the service station. At each of the corners, there's a little bit of right-of-way.
Okay. But I can't, that's not really shown on this, I take it.
If you can barely see the proposed lines, and Chuck, you cut in any time, but if you would have to scroll in and go ahead, Chuck.
I was going to say some of them are distinguished definitely to the east, northeast quadrant. You can see where the red lines go around the access. That was where we were looking at having to purchase some right of way. Most of the rest of the right of way where the stormwater management ponds are shown, we're just showing them there. Those would get identified and moved around when we went to further design. But those would be probably acquisitions, and then possibly a little bit along Village Drive would be needed. But most of where the purple lines are, those are the existing right of way. So
Okay.
it's just where the red lines are shows where we would have to get additional right of way.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like very much from what I can tell from this.
No,
Okay.
it isn't a lot of right of way, and at this conceptual stage, we wanted to make sure that we've shown it, and we're considering the estimate that we're providing to the county for their application. But the one thing that we can count on is that if the project is selected for funding in advance, which we're optimistic, we're hopeful for, since it's ranked number 8 in the district, that it will change. At least the layout, the general layout will be consistent, but the right-of-way limits, where we have stormwater management, they're shown. We have to consider those, but their final configuration is going to be different. Whether it's an inch or 20 feet, it's going to be different than what's shown in the concept. That's the risk that we always run when we put a concept drawing out there, is that it will change.
Right. Well, I'm not surprised at the number 8. I mean, the school traffic during the weeks, at least when school's in session, and then of course the lake traffic takes over on the weekends, and so it's a very busy intersection much of the time. So
Yeah,
okay.
It sure is.
Okay.
Yes, sir, sure is.
231 and High Street is a priority 91, is that right?
Yes, it's ranked 91 in the district overall. So.
And where is the 3 and 20 ranked?
3 and 20 is, when we did this is before all those crashes occurred last year. So we didn't have a ranking for it, and the new rankings have not come out yet. They usually come out in September. So that would reflect the 2019 traffic. So I don't have a number for it right now. I know the segment from Route 20 West is ranked, and I forget exactly what the number on it is. I could look it up. If you give me a second, I can find it.
And by the time the crash data comes in, I know they're averaging a couple of accidents every weekend down there.
Yeah, we've actually pulled the data. I mean, that's what the safety study does. We pull the crash data through the beginning of the year, and we have that documented. It'll be part of the report that we submit as part of the application going forward. But right now, like I said, it's not ranked as a segment.
Do we have any preliminary cost estimates on these projects?
some of them we do. They're finalizing them right now. We should have them in the next couple of weeks. Or the next week, this week and next week, we should have them done. I'm hoping to get them out to Susan, and so they can get entered into the portal, smart portal, later this, like next week. Okay, the segment of Route 3 is 125. It's ranked 125, and it goes from Route 3 to the intersection west to basically the R-Cut area.
All right.
So at what point will we have a decision on which actually gets funded?
They'll, after the applications are submitted, in the 17th is when they have to be submitted by, we will go through and validate them and score them. And then those scores will come out in January at the January CTB meeting. And that's when we'll find out where we fare.
Okay. All right.
Very good. Any other questions? Gentlemen, thank you very much for the presentation. Is there anything additional we need to do this evening for you, Alan?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, we would need to vote on the resolution to submit the applications.
Very good.
Before we vote, do I need to let people know, because my iPad cut out and I didn't get a chance to tell everybody where I was.
Yes, that would be excellent, Mr. Frame.
I'm now on at 103 Woodland Trail in Locust Grove, Virginia, at my home.
All right, very good. So do I have a motion for the resolution?
So moved.
Second? Okay, Mr. White's the second. All right, Mr. Goodwin, I like your new speech. Let's go ahead, because of the issues we're having, let's go ahead and do a roll call, even if it's by a thumbs up would be fine.
Mr. Crozier?
Aye.
Mr. Frame?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. White?
Aye.
And Mr. Goodwin?
Very good. All right, that passes unanimously. Once again, Alan and your team, thank you very much.
All right. Chairman Crozier and Susan and gentlemen, thank you all very much. It's good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Take care.
Yes, sir.
Next is the consent agenda. And was
Motion
that
to approve.
Mr. Goodwin seconded it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. I see no new business. Now we'll move on to 6A, old business, proposed ordinance for vacation of a portion of Wheaton Road, Brom Road, and Wilderness Shores Way. Mr. Latchnick.
Now, Mr. Chairman, as you recall, last meeting, we opened the public hearing on this. This is basically a very long resolution to vacate a couple of goat paths in Wilderness Shores. They're roads on the old maps, but they're long ago quit being roads. And we're just trying to clear up the infrastructure there in Wilderness Shores. So with that, I'll answer any questions anybody has.
All right, very well. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Latchnick? All right, in that case, Susan, did we have any public comment on this?
No, Mr. Chairman, we did not.
Okay, I will close the public hearing. Any further discussion from the board members? All right, need a motion to approve. And
So
I guess,
moved.
okay, in a second. Mr. Goodwin's got the second. I believe this would be a roll call.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mr. Goodwin? Mr. White?
Aye.
Mr. Crozier?
Aye,
And Mr. Frame?
Aye.
very good. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. Latchney. 6B is Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court Advisory Council nominees. Mrs. Straub.
Good evening, gentlemen. As a reminder, back in January, we presented
the Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court Advisory Project idea to the board, and you were willing to adopt a resolution in favor of this council. In the spring, you authorized me to reach out to certain individuals within our community to see if they would be willing to serve on this council. The board is allowed to appoint up to 5 nominees, and Judge Morris can appoint up to 5. I have heard back from everyone that you authorized me to reach out to, and tonight I am asking that you officially nominate them to serve on the council. Those folks include Alicia Vines with the Office on Youth, Mark Amos, Sheriff, Bill Berry, Assistant Superintendent of Orange County Public Schools, Diana O'Connell, Orange County Commonwealth's Attorney, and Crystal Hale, Director of Orange County Social Services.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Okay, second, Mr. Goodwin. All right, and I believe we can probably just do this with a regular thumbs up vote. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Very good. Passes unanimously.
Thank
Thank
you.
Rob. Yep. All right. Have nothing for Department Director or Constitutional Officer reports. County Attorney's report.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Mr. Latchney. County Administrator's report. Mr. Voorhees.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did just want to recognize Susan for her work to pull together the smart scale item that we just disposed of. Allison was working on that when she took her medical leave, and Susan had to learn quickly and then work also with our planning district commission folks and VDOT to kind of pull everything together. And she was able to learn on the fly and get it all in place. So I appreciate that. We're all adapting and being flexible here.
Absolutely. Very good. We do appreciate her work on that. All right. With all that being said, any board comment?
Yeah, I've got a couple.
Okay.
If you look into the informational items under the Social Services Quarterly Report, Crystal has done a good job of explaining all the things that are happening with regard to taking care of individuals out of the Social Services Department with regard to the CARES Act. It's pretty good. It's a one-page summary. It's pretty good.
All right. Very good.
Second item is we got this email from the Department of Interior about locations for monuments to donate, a HEROES Act. Is anybody, are we responding to that?
At this point, we have not. However, we will discuss it with Mr. Voorhees and see what we come up with.
Okay, great.
All right, very good. Any other board comment? All right. Item 11 is the informational items, which I think everybody has already seen, and we just talked about one of them. Next would be appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Does anyone have anything this evening?
Yes, I do. I have 2 appointments. I would like to appoint Sam Kessler and Deanne Marshall to the Health Center Commission.
All right, very good. In that case, let's take a vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Very good. They are so appointed.
I would also mention that Social Services at the Social Services Board meeting this afternoon, we're hopeful that somebody might be able to fill in the District 2 and District 4 reps.
Very good. Very good.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Johnson.
I abstained on that motion by Mr. Frame.
Oh, all right. In that case, we will correct the record to show a 4-1 with 1 abstention, being Mr. Johnson. Thank you, sir. All right. On the calendar, the only thing that I see is to schedule a public hearing to consider sale of county-owned land on August 11th at 6 p.m. If we can do that, is there anything else for the calendar that anyone has? All right then. At this point, Mr. Latchney, could you read the words for recessing the closed meeting?
All right. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Orange County desires to discuss in closed meeting the following matter: discussion concerning two prospective business or industries or the expansion of existing industry where no previous announcement is made to the business or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community. And whereas pursuant to section 2.2, 3711A5 of the Code of Virginia, such discussion may occur in closed meeting. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Orange County is hereby authorized discussion of four state matters in closed meeting. Need that as a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Goodwin seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are now enclosed.
And that's a dial in. So we're going to finish the Zoom and move to the telephone.
Okay, very good.
Everyone could remember to mute themselves as well, please. On the Zoom call for now.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, Lee, you need to mute this and call on the phone, a separate number.
Lee, you need to get on another phone.
Hello.
You didn't read the fine print.
All right.
All right.
One, two.
I just updated Andrew, so it'll just take a second.
Okay, I think we're still waiting on Teal and Mark.
Oh, I'm here. I just,
Here?
there I am. See, there I am.
Mark Hand is here, yes. All right. Everybody is here. Andrew, are we ready?
Yes, sir. We are good to go.
All right. Susan, are you reading the words for coming out of closed?
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Okay, if you would do so. And the county administrator earmarked it as 6:16.
Thank you. Members of the board, to the best of your knowledge, were the only matters discussed in the closed meeting, public business matters lawfully exempted from from open meeting requirements, and that only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting. Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. Crozier,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
Mr. Goodwin, and Mr. Frame.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, we're back in open session, and I need one more motion, and that would
So
be
move to adjourn.
okay. And I saw Mr. Goodwin. I've learned how to read lips. He seconded it. All in favor, say aye or thumbs up.
Aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, supervisors.